all our listeners, who the only one we had is actually now currently sitting with us. Give us a shout out, Karl.
Hey, thanks for having us, boys. Pleasure to be
We've
here.
got our entire audience with us.
That's it. This is a rare occurrence, guys. I don't know if there's another podcast that has an entire audience joining in.
With me here, I don't know who's going to be making wisecracks on Facebook.
Karl, why don't you introduce yourself, mate? Because we've never had the pleasure of meeting.
Yeah, Simon, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us on today. I'm just avid listener. Had a lot of thoughts on conspiracies and Sopranos, and I think I can weigh in on a lot of issues. You know what I mean?
The Sopranos.
Where do we start?
The Sopranos.
Firstly, how do you know these two accountant clowns?
Well, we're cousins.
Mel?
We're cousins.
So they're your cousins?
Yeah, we look the same.
Me and Mel don't even look the same, let alone Karl.
Look,
No, we're the same. If you ask us if we want ice cream cone, all of us say yes.
I actually don't mind it in a cup, to be honest.
must be cousins.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. So what are we discussing today, guys?
So I know you're first on your list today, Simon. You want to have a bit of a chat about Christian Porter. Is that high on our list today?
First, before we go there, can we just say, look.
Here we go.
All right. Roma, the only team left from Italy in European competition.
Any team left?
What an absolute embarrassment for the rest of
Only
us.
team left in the Farmers League medal.
In the Farmers League.
It is becoming a Farmers League, isn't it? Can't even make the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Juventus lose to Porto. Who's Porto? Where are they from again? Seriously.
Oh, sorry, mate. This guy makes one final and acts like he's been relevant for the last 15 years. Far out.
Well, quarterfinal. But
Jeez, mate.
seriously, we're holding up our end of the bargain.
God forbid Juve do it for 10 years and then you just have to do it once. And, what's happened to Juve? Oh, sorry.
But for Juve, it should be expected that you beat teams like Porto and go through.
Granted, but
when you got a player like Ronaldo, but Ronaldo doesn't even show up.
Barcelona just got kicked out too
against his Portuguese rivals as well, right? And he doesn't show up. What a waste! Sorry.
Well,
and then the next game he goes and scores a hat trick against a bunch of nobodies.
Farmers League, eh?
Farmers League.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is.
Anyway, so what do you do?
We got Ajax Amsterdam next, so we'll see how we go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Well, they're not the Ajax that they used to be.
Still Ajax, but
True. True, though. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. The Christian Porter situation. We probably should have discussed it last time, but we didn't get around to it. What's your opinion of the accusations he's copped recently?
Well, tough one, isn't it? Very tough. Unfortunately, the other person's not here, sadly, to relay her thoughts or whatever happened. So it's a very difficult situation.
So really, we shouldn't even be.
But
it shouldn't even be a media topic then.
Not necessarily.
Really?
There's two things happening in this scenario. There's one thing about did it happen, did it not happen? That's one aspect of this, which is, well, that's a police investigation, so be it. The other aspect is, should it interfere with his job? I think they're two separate conversations because, well, please enlighten me, Karlowski.
No, it's trial by public opinion. You know what I mean? Like, if I accuse you,
you gotta put that microphone to your mouth, mate.
Okay, is that better?
It's very
better.
Yeah, it's a bit better.
Trial by public opinion. If I accuse you of being a rapist, what do we expect you to just step aside from your job until we prove innocent? No, it's the other way around. You're proven innocent until proven guilty. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. My reply with this issue is the fact that Parliament isn't held to the same standard as the general public. That is the first thing. Specifically because you look at situations where, Mel, what was the name of the guy who got the bottle of wine? What was his name?
Oh, the Premier of New South Wales.
Yeah, Premier of New South Wales. I've forgotten his name. Right, receives a bottle of wine.
Was it Karl?
Huh?
No, it wasn't. It was
Karl? No.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Receives a bottle of wine. He has to resign because he said it was never him who received it, even though he gave him a handwritten note. There ain't anything illegal about that. Nothing at all, right? But you're not held to the same standard. That's what it is. But you're literally held to a different standard. That's why. And the fact is he's the Attorney General, which is the highest standard.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't even matter. Like, again, he hasn't really. It's not proven that he's done anything. Anyone can just accuse anyone of doing anything, and then what? There's like, if I accuse the Prime Minister of doing the exact same thing, is he expected to step down? There's no basis for these claims other than some notes on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
that she didn't even. The police aren't investigating any further.
But,
you know what
but
I mean?
they asked people to. They asked people to step down for an affair, and this is an alleged rape. Like they're held to not the same standard. That is a problem.
That exactly is.
That is a problem.
Key word there.
That with Morrison for not bending his knee to the public opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, good on him for not making him step aside and just keep. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. You can't make all these exceptions just because.
Exactly, I agree totally with Karl. So what Porter said in his press conference about the part where he said, if I step down, then any man can be accused and cop the same wrath kind of thing.
It sets a terrible
precedent. So he needs to not step down to set a precedent and set an example, I suppose, for other men who are accused in their own opinion, falsely accused, so that they don't have to bend to potentially false accusation.
Yeah. But now, there's a reason.
Also got to take into account this allegedly happened 33 years ago when he was 17 years old, so not an adult. The girl would have been 16. Okay. He swears black and blue that he didn't do it. Why should he have to step down for an accusation from someone who's since withdrawn her allegation as well? Now, I know that, it's pretty murky circumstance the way she withdrew it, I suppose, because apparently she called the police, told them that she wanted to withdraw the accusation and drop charges, whatever. And then a few hours later, apparently she's taken her life. Right? But
see,
what's left to do?
When we talk, so I think the use of the word baseless is potentially not necessarily the thing, because it sounds to be there is some sort of base. Now, what I mean by that is people knew about this. It seems to be that it wasn't it seems that other people have also discussed it and have had conversations. So to say the word baseless is very different to the words circumstantial, like whether the circumstance was actually a rape or not. Well, that's the criteria. Whether they were involved or not, I don't think anyone's querying that. I think they were. Whether it was so, the term baseless, I don't think is the right term. There was clearly some sort of interaction.
What do you mean involved? You mean had a relationship?
This is exactly my point.
Because he said that there was
no. This is exactly my point. Because when they say baseless to me is the term where, man, I wasn't even there. How can you even accuse me of it? I wasn't even at the same location, right? Which is not. Well, that's what I'm saying. So baseless is not necessarily the right term. The second part of it, the thing is, we're not coming in blind with Christian Porter. I think there's a distinct reason ABC ran that story before. I actually think there really is. There's a distinct reason, because I think they knew this was potentially going to come out. So there's a reason they ran with that story. They just didn't have enough for this one, right? Now, that's what media does. They give you a pattern of someone and then let you decide. Now, unfortunately, pressure mounts. That's basically what's happening to him. At what point is too much drama? That's essentially what's happening. It's going to get to a point where it's like, all right, he's now too much drama. He's not worth the headache.
Well, that could happen politically,
exactly.
But criminally, no, all right? Because I just cannot stand for if you are just because you're accused, you have to lose your job.
Yeah.
And no way. No way. I'm 1,000% on his side.
The claims are baseless.
My opinion is that he didn't do it. Obviously, I can't factually know. But I just can't look at a man stand up like that, the way he spoke. I can't look at the way he spoke and say that he's lying, right? That's not the body language. That's not the speech. That's not the demeanor of a man who knows that he's done a rape, no matter how long ago.
My thing is that
can't see it.
It shouldn't matter.
And that's not coming from a political persuasion, being a supporter or not a supporter. That's nothing to do with it. I would say that whether it's someone in the media that was accused who I couldn't stand, if that's the way I saw them speak, I could not point my finger and say, yeah, he's done that. No, It was too
convincing.
Not clear, but it was too, what's the way? I'm not sure the way to articulate it, but I just can't look at him and say, he's lying. He's faking his body language. You know what I mean? He just did not look like a man who was guilty, but he looked like a man who was broken because of the false.
This is the broader sense of consent, though. So this is the problem that we have with consent, right? Consent is generally implied, so we assume there's consent, right? So it is very possible he assumes consent, she doesn't assume consent, but they're not on the same. But that's what I'm saying to you. It's not a black and white situation. It's like rape. What rape was we define?
You cannot allow accusations because someone has regrets a day later or 33 years later.
But
that's right? You have an issue with the way we deem consent then, because that's what's happening. And that happens consistently. That happens all the time, right? That's partly the issue why we've gotten to this scenario now, because people are allowed to do that. That's why this circumstance now exists, right? Now, I can understand why he would say, well, no, she consented to it at the time, because at the time. But then people often say, oh, no, now that I look at it, I didn't consent.
He's not saying she consented to it at the time. He's saying there was no physical contact at all.
Which I think is bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
I don't know.
I don't believe that at all.
Maybe they had a sexual
relationship. In all fairness, it was 33 years. A long time to remember. I mean...
That's what makes it so. How can you investigate?
Also, you got to take into account the mental state of this woman. She had lifelong mental problems. Apparently, was bipolar. A symptom of bipolar disorder is delusions. You look at the evidence that she presented, like scribbled like a kindergarten child would scribble things down on paper, and that was the evidence that she's trying to use to implicate him.
Yeah, but you can't throw that all. You can't throw out all the claims and everything just because she has mental health issues. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I think I think the other guy who's come out, one of the guys on the board of Macquarie, who seems to be involved. I don't think this is clearly he said, she said. I think there's a bit of stuff from outside that is getting thrown in. It's muddy in the waters, right? Now, look. This is why I'm saying I think there's two parts here. Should it affect his job? No, I don't think it should affect his job either, because there's clearly an allegation. In reality, does it affect your job? I think if you're in any sort of public profile position, it's going to affect you regardless. It is going to affect you. Bill Shorten carries the drama as well.
I was just going to bring up that. The same thing happened to Bill Shorten, right? So before we jump onto Bill Shorten, this woman's gone to the police. The police have done their, call it investigation, inquiry, whatever you want to call it. They've seen that there's nowhere to go with it, and they've dropped it. Okay. Now Bill Shorten, the exact same thing, right? He was accused. The police did their investigation. There was nothing to charge him with, and it was dropped. Now during all that process, the media didn't touch it. Right? But because Christian Porter is a liberal politician, conservative, the media's had a field day with it, okay? But because Bill Shorten's of the left, and it is because of the political ideology, right, the different political ideology, Bill Shorten was left alone. And when the charges were, he wasn't charged, I don't think, but when the investigation was over and there was nothing to charge Shorten with, it was left alone again, right? But like I said, Christian Porter, he's not of the left. He's copped it, and he's got to be run over the coals by trial by media opinion. Not really public opinion. It's trial by media opinion. The public is largely, I reckon, on Porter's side with this.
I think
because they see the hypocrisy and the double standards that the media is perpetrating here.
I think you got to bear in mind that it's his position as well. He's the Attorney General. That is second to the Prime Minister. You know what I mean?
I couldn't give a shit if he was the janitor in the Prime Minister's
office. Makes a difference, though.
Right? Or the Attorney...
It does.
You're saying it makes a difference. It shouldn't make a difference.
It literally
The
does.
law's the law. Right? You can say, you're held to a higher standard. A legal accusation or a criminal accusation is a criminal accusation.
He's the highest judicial officer in this country.
It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be treated differently.
But he's the one defining the law.
Be treated differently.
He's the one defining the law. He's the one that takes a stand. If they want to introduce a piece of legislation or whatever, he's the defining factor. He's the Attorney General.
Yeah, but the
What do you
way
mean?
that the law
Bill-
handles the situation should be the same, whether or not you're that high up or the
No, because the difference being Bill Shorten wasn't in power.
You handle the same.
But Bill Shorten wasn't in power. There's a difference. There's a difference. If you're not,
That's a
no,
big
it's not. It
stretch,
isn't,
Dom.
because if you're
Sorry,
not in
mate.
power, then big whoop. You don't you haven't got the job. I'm going to kick you out of a job you don't have.
What are you talking
He can't be Attorney General if he's an opposition. It's impossible. There's a different standard if you're actually in power or not in power. There always been.
But what we're saying, at least Karl and I, what we're saying is it shouldn't matter what his position is. A criminal accusation should be handled the same no matter where you stand in your status
Yes,
or
correct.
your position.
But bear in
or your
mind that
job.
he's the man who writes the
You're
law. Yes, sure.
human.
But he's the man who writes the law. Don't forget that. Who's the one who authorizes it. But he's got a pretty powerful position.
You're making him sound like a dictator.
No, but I'm not making.
No,
He's the Attorney General.
You are held, and whether you like it or not, and you seem to disagree with me, you as a person in the parliament are held at a higher standard. You have an integrity measure more than the bricklayer down the corner doing a house, okay? You just do. That is fact.
Who's going to do this
agree with
job or any job in politics if one accusation from when you're an adolescent or a teenager, right, can get you thrown out of that job and potentially dragged through the law courts? No one's going to do this
Tom,
job. You can't allow this to happen.
People like that at that status should be held to account, like at a higher standard than that. But what I'm saying, and what I think Simon's saying as well, the procedure, like if they've been accused of something, should be the same whether or not they're that high or at the bottom of the rung.
But you are.
That I agree with. I agree with you there. That's fair
That's
enough.
right.
Yeah.
But you're arguing two different things, right? The procedure, whether it be the same or not, if you were someone who had no public influence, right, your job wouldn't be at risk. But if you're somebody who has public influence, your job is at risk, whether the procedure is the same or not. The argument's not about the procedure. The procedure is if he's not guilty, he's not guilty. If he's not charged, he's not charged. That's not the issue here. The issue is whether that affects your position in the public eye. And you know what happens a lot of times? How many times do they not take a case? The police don't take a case. And because I quote, and this is the quote, it is not in the public interest.
Yeah.
That specifically lists there. It is not in the public interest. That's my point.
Look, if the public do have an interest in it and want an inquiry, by all means, you know what I mean? I think it could be investigated a little bit further, but I don't think that it should affect his position. I don't think he should have to step aside for it. That's all.
But what more inquiries are they going to make? Than they already
That I agree with. You can't expect now just because the police have said no. You can't say, "Well, let's have another inquiry," because the police have said no. Hang on a minute.
I said that's not going to be the problem, Simon. That's not going to be the problem because this is now Christian Porter's problem. You can do it once. You can maybe have a second amount of drama. If he has any more drama, I guarantee you he's out of that position.
Yeah.
By the Prime Minister.
He's out, man. He's not worth the public downside.
That probably will already happen at some point, even if nothing more happens. Coming up to an election,
he might not get nominated.
Because of the media's persuasion of public opinion, because of the media's persuasion of public opinion, he probably won't keep this position. It's disgusting. But that's politics.
But exactly the point. It is politics. Politics is fickle. It is because it is about how you're perceived. It is. Right. It's how you're perceived, right? Yep. And if you have a bad perception to the public, man, at the end of the day, he was the one hooking up with the girl in the middle of the bar. That's on you, man. It's not on anyone else.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That one there, yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Who among us?
But these aren't when you're in politics because if you
I agree with he was a single man, right? Apparently he was separated or divorced at the time.
We assume. But at the same time, when the other guy's out going, when the Alan Tudge is then going, I told the reporter to delete the photo. Well, it's not a good look. And unfortunately, it is about the look. That's how politics works. It's about being popular.
Okay. That's fair enough. You can't argue that's how politics works, but I'm trying to look at it from the legal standpoint, right? Not that I'm a lawyer, but you know what I mean? I just can't see how there's anything to legally incriminate.
I'll give you an example outside of politics, right? This is now athletes are prime example of this, right? Athletes again, right? So if you have a situation that's not criminal, but it's a bad look, your job's on the line. Potentially on how good you are, but your job's on the line. It happens all the time.
It didn't happen to Shane Warne.
Okay, take
happen to Shane
Ronaldo,
Warne.
right? Ronaldo was accused of raping some woman in America, I think, while he was still playing for Manchester United. So, we're going back 10 years or so, maybe more, right? That was a bad look, but it didn't affect him.
Sure.
In terms of his position at the club he was at
drama
the time.
Drama v talent. There's a drama v talent argument again. But I'll take another one, which is
what? Drama v talent.
So if your talent outweighs your drama, you'll get a second chance. It's always been the case, regardless. This has always been the case, right? If your talent outweighs the drama, it's fine. There's always a level, okay? If you're not,
but okay, let's say that it was a lesser player, right? I think he'd already transferred to Juventus when this came out.
Oh, they reopened it. Yeah.
Let's say that it was a middle of the rung player at Juventus or any club, accused of raping someone 10 years ago. Should that player have been stood down by the club while the investigation is pending?
Robinho. So you remember Robinho? What happened to Robinho?
Yep. I don't jog my memory.
Doesn't have a job anymore. Got signed to Sao Paulo in Brazil, but he still has rape allegations, so they had to cancel his contract in Brazil. Same thing.
Because he was accused.
Well, this is what they're saying. So he does.
Accused or convicted? Accused or convicted?
He doesn't have a job anymore as soon as it happened.
But the other question he asked, if he was a middle of the range player, would he have had the allegations accused against him?
Yeah, well,
Well, he might not have, but it potentially.
But generally speaking, you don't know. He might have been just a nobody.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I
don't think rapists are defined by their profession, Mel. I think it's just. I don't think there's there you can categorize this.
We're just breaking a point.
I don't think because he became a soccer player, he became a rapist. I don't think they're the same thing.
What I'm saying is, didn't the accusation come out because he was a famous soccer player, or because if he was a nobody, would that accusation come out?
Well, possibly. We don't know. There's lots of people that report people for rape daily. There's lots of people that don't. You just don't know. That's another argument.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying.
But that's another argument altogether.
Back on Porter. The other thing now is he is suing the ABC and their reporter. Okay, and that's another thing. I think if he knew he was guilty, would he be going hard on?
I just think he's
not counter suing, but
he's a lawyer doing lawyer things.
Apparently, from what I've read, the ABC and the reporter are in the shit. They pretty much have to prove that he did it to be out of the shit.
See, you know what I reckon will happen in this?
Now I don't know all the specific details, but I think he's got the upper hand.
I don't think
so
because Alan Tudge said that he apologised for doing that. Like they had their stories so mixed up.
Yeah, but I think you're talking about the wrong case, man. You're talking about this.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Alan Tudge.
No, hang on. So they're suing him for the only thing they ran. The story they ran was about the one in the pub. That's the story.
I watched the Four Corners one. There was a heap on.
Yeah, that. So what's it?
We're talking about the Four Corners thing, right? Where they were talking about the rape allegation from 33 years ago.
Yeah, that's the one. This one.
Is that the one he's suing for defamation?
That's what he's suing them for.
Yeah, defamation for that one.
He's suing them for that one. He's suing them for defamation because of that. Yes.
I don't see how they can win a situation where all they've said is that this is what was reported to them.
They were just reporting the facts.
I don't know how you could possibly say we've reduced your view in the public eye. That's what he's basically trying to say.
Well, that's what.
Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Do you know what I reckon? This is the usual we'll settle out of court situation. This is all that's going to happen.
All they did was report the facts.
I hope he goes all the way.
I don't think he does. I don't see how. I can honestly say I reckon ABC would have actually gone, you know what, we don't have enough on this story, just run the facts. The opinion piece was the one done out of the bar in Canberra.
Yeah, but I don't think it was only to do with that.
Don't worry, that started his vendetta against the ABC. You don't think that started his vendetta against them?
Just because he's got a vendetta, but I think that's what his case is based on.
What? Yeah, but that one there, hang on a second, that there,
big assumption there.
Hang on a second, that case there made the rape allegation seem a lot worse. It does. If it was out of nowhere and he got a rape allegation, it would be nowhere near as bad as having a bad public image previously of his treatment with women, and then this happens. Surely you can see that. You can see why it makes it look worse.
So that was setting up a pattern.
But I don't think they had enough they knew this all along, but I don't think they have enough. And I think they were very careful on what they said about the previous rape allegation and consistently.
Tom. Do you reckon he did it?
No, I don't. See, this is what I think. I think this comes back to my original consent thing. I really think he thinks he didn't do it. I actually honestly believe he thinks he didn't do it, right? What my thing is, whether she thinks that or not, I don't know.
Yep. 33 years ago, I reckon that consent was a far more sort of, not like everyone knows now. If you like say no and he forces you to go through it, and he has a good time. Like back in the day, I think a lot of that shit got not swept under the rug, but the girls like didn't know, like they could speak up about this wasn't right. Whereas nowadays, it's quite
I honestly think he thinks he didn't do it. Like I actually do think he thinks he didn't do it. Whether that means that it didn't happen, like I don't think it's. Listen, I don't think it's black and white. I don't know. She had her issues. Whether I don't know. I don't know what was happening, right? You really don't. It was a long time ago.
I reckon she said no, but no, stop. And then
the Bill Burr.
Really speculation. It's a bit of a waste of time.
But again, like you know what I mean. Like back in the day, it was just different. Like the girls didn't know they could speak up, and it came out far too late. I think, too little, too late.
I think it's. I think it's two things. It either completely flat out did not happen, or they did have a sexual relationship, even if it was just a one-off, and then she's regretted it afterwards.
Yeah.
But I cannot, my mind just can't, I can't believe that he's actually raped her in terms of held her down, forced her violently. I just can't see that.
It's just like I said, like difference of like consent, at the time, like she may have regretted it and just not spoken up, or like it could have, You know what I mean?
Although I did find
no one's really actually pinned her down.
One of the articles did write the first line. The first line of the article was senior cabinet minister has been accused of accused of a child anal rape or something like this. And I was like, seems like a real aggressive opening line for the conversation. And I was like, all right, that's a real strange one. So I think from that perspective, I know when you say when the media run with the narrative. Having said that, though, it's a good story, man. Like if I was in the media, I'd be running this story every day of the week. Surely you would take this and go, yeah, here we go. At least I got something that would be quite interesting. You would, because that's what the media does, right? There's another.
It turns out that they've got to be more careful going forward.
Yeah, see, I think they were very careful in this. And I think it was very well calculated to say, let's run the story on the bar and four corners, right, and let the situation play out. And I think that's essentially what they did. Yeah.
But this woman, years later, has got back in touch with him, and they've met up and gone out for lunch or something. There's something
allegedly.
So if she thinks that she's been raped by this guy, why would she be doing that? There's a lot of holes in her.
That's true, but she was also not mentally well. We don't know. You don't know. There could be a lot of reasons.
And that's another hole.
But it is. But unfortunately, you can't assume something didn't happen because she's not mentally sound. Like, I mean, can I just say,
her parents also voiced concerns over these allegations.
Bruce didn't know about that one.
Her own parents.
Yeah, but can I say as well, a lot of the old days, parents used to refuse to acknowledge things a lot of the times, like especially with relatives abusing children. So, it's hard to say what someone's feelings were at the time. We don't know. Look, do I think he thought he did it? No, I actually think he doesn't think he did anything wrong. Like I genuinely believe he thinks he didn't do anything wrong. The difference is whether you think that or whether he didn't. Well, there's the difference, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time will tell. I think he's on knife's edge at the moment, and he could actually be. I think WA would be a bit of sacrificial lamb in the next election. So I think they might say, look, we're going to have a hard time in WA. Let's focus all our energy on Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. That's probably what I'm guessing.
Well,
I don't know. Well, okay. Do you think that the Liberal Party's going to have a hard time in WA federally because of the
Oh, I don't see it will be. No, I don't think it's be bad.
In the state
I don't think it'll be.
I don't think it's going to translate
to a certain. No. So the issue with is the people, not so much the party now. So you got Linda Reynolds' issue, which will have a flow-on effect. So it will.
Yeah, but she's a senator anyway.
But people don't realise the difference, Mel. Think of the general public. Like the general public don't understand.
Yeah, but people also don't pay attention.
No,
man, Linda Reynolds wouldn't even come up. You just brought that up. I just forgot all about it.
Hang on a second. No, but
exactly.
No, hang
That's
on.
easily
You've got to
forgotten,
remember when you go to an election, what do you think the other side's going to pull up? These are the things they're going to pull up. They're going to pull up Linda Reynolds. They're going to put up Christian Porter. They're going to say Matthias Cormann.
What are they going to pull up about? Look at Albanese. That's what they're going to throw. He's going to put the franking credits in. He hasn't denied it. That's what they're going to do.
Labor's
not going to go for the grey vote.
Labor's not going to do anything here either. None of them are going to do anything for WA. They're just going to let WA play out. It's not worth the resource. It really isn't. They're just going to let it play out and be done with it. All right. Now, the problem they have is they're going to get smear campaigned. They are. It's going to happen. I'm sure you can see that from a mile away.
Yeah,
but you can. It's the problem the Labor government's going to have in their next election in WA is that
if Christian Porter wins his case against ABC and the reporter defamation.
Yeah, but that's going to take ages.
Would have to tread very carefully about.
But in that case, it's going to take well after the next election.
They'll still smear him over the bar thing. It's just the way it works. It's just they smear you. The thing is that it's going to happen to the state Labor Party as well because they've got a lot of people in their parliament now. So you're going to start getting the dramas. When you only got 2 people in parliament, it's pretty easy to stay drama free. The 2 of you get together, right? Don't do anything stupid, right? It's not that hard. When you got 52, you're going to have some issues, right?
The WA Liberal Party, the most drama-free political party.
You're going to have to be now. They got 3 people there.
I'm actually surprised with his cabinet. Speaking of which, the Premier's cabinet reshuffle. I reckon Tinley didn't do a bad job and he got dumped.
I think Tinley was opposition, as in if they got to get rid of Mark, who was going to be the guy who was going to lead. So I think it's a bit of a Tony Abbott to the backbench situation.
Protect your patch.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I actually quite like Peter Tinley.
What do you reckon of the Supreme Leader taking over the Treasury as well?
Well, he can. What does it say? He can authorise a statue of himself now, put in front of Parliament House.
Although
finance it.
Although it's not strange for the WA Premier to also be Treasurer. Prior to the Gallop government, it pretty much always happened, and Barnett did it as well for a year.
Yeah, look, I get that, but it's not as if he's short on resource of people. That's what I'm saying. It's not as if he doesn't have anyone.
Yeah, but the treasurer position is for the next up and comer. So my guess is he's going to let them all fight out to see who's going to be the best, who's going to be his patsy. That's my guess.
I reckon poor Rita got a little bit shafted there. Wasn't she promised the position?
Busy with,
but she was promised that position. She was promised that position. No.
Yeah, but Mel, this is the thing. He's in a position of power. Let them all battle it out till I get whoever's going to do whatever I want.
I just didn't like his comments. How I'm experienced. I know how to do this, and I've been fighting for the GST. And I'm like, that's not even true. I'm like.
The GST is completely irrelevant because you can still be the premier.
And number 2, he got the benefit of the GST in 2017. So what did he fight for? He walked into it. That was as much as they can say. That was Colin Barnett who fought for that. He's the one who made the song and dance for in the hoo-ha. So, fair's fair. You gotta, But
Johnny's just chimed in with a message on Facebook live stream. WA will vote Labor for the same reasons they voted for McGowan.
No, I can't see that one.
Yeah, but you can't play on the WA versus the rest.
The reasons they voted for McGowan is they think McGowan kept us safe from COVID-19. So you can't say Labor federally kept us safe from COVID-19.
Because remember, Labor got whitewashed for the last one was the franking credits. The franking credits, the grey vote destroyed them. At the end of the day, if you tell an old person, like, they voted Mount McGowan into the old people because he kept us safe, kept the virus out. Now they're going to vote federally. They'll say, oh, he's not taking our franking credits. So
you know the other thing is, so elections during COVID, the incumbents fall from 4. Mate, it ain't changing through the COVID process. So if it's still a situation,
when's the next
2022?
Next year.
So you'll still have a fair portion of this running through. So I think it'd be very hard to overturn. Like, it doesn't matter whether they're Liberal or Labor at the moment. It's just the way
if they ramp up the vaccine, process, then that'll be that'll look
not only that. Think about
Liberal Party.
Think about as well what would happen is, so by that point you'll start to see everyone's vaccinated, virus tapering off. You'll have borders reopening, people are able to do things. You should see a boom in some industry. I'd say like tourism stuff will start to come back, travel. So
tourism.
I think it will look, so interest rates will still be relatively low. I think it will look, the perception will be it's actually quite good circumstance when the election time is going to happen. So I don't think WA versus them would work on a federal level.
It's not going to work versus them because you're not versing anybody.
No, exactly.
At the end of the day, we're 10% of the population.
We've even lost the seat federally, so I don't think it's going to make any.
Oh, that's why I don't.
Mate, the election, by the time we close our vote in Western Australia, the election would be you already know the answer. Especially if it's in the summertime, we'd be 3 hours behind anyway. So you have a rough idea of who wins and who's not going to win. So, and I can't see, like I said, I can't see a lot of the. Yeah, I think people understand sort of now that. Look what's the federal government done? JobKeeper has been not too bad. Was it poorly executed? Could have been executed a bit better? Of course. Well, they made the decision at the time unforeknown of what could be. If they had to do that time again, I'm sure it'd be completely different.
And it was done in 3 weeks. And not only that, the intent was to make the economy recover. And at the end of the day, they got out of a technical recession in the first quarter. So if you take it on face value, then it probably worked, right? How long we're going to pay it back for? Well, there's an argument to be made there. But at the end of the day, the intent was to get people to spend that money, which they have.
Yes,
hasn't been the case. So we'll see what happens. But I think their election, barring some sort of catastrophic failure
of Morrison,
some sort of absolute blunder, I think he'd be a pretty safe bet.
Yeah,
the next one.
I reckon it'll be pretty much the same. That's what I'd say anyway.
Yeah.
What else we're going to discuss? Joe Biden falling up the stairs. See that?
That's quite funny, actually. Not once, but twice, but three times. Three times. Jesus.
I'm starting to feel sorry for him.
I'm starting to feel sorry for the United States of America.
Wolves, haven't
they? Actually, just.
How's he supposed to last potentially another 8 years?
No, he's not going to last. He's only going to do 4 years. They always said he's only going to do 4 years.
Even 4 is a stretch.
But I just find it fascinating that he's the most popular president in the history of presidents. How is he more popular than Barack Obama?
COVID tax, Mel.
Yeah, but even COVID tax, Barack Obama, what do you say? Whatever, it was probably the most charismatic leader in the history of leaders.
I know, but COVID tax.
What about JFK?
Yeah, well, I wasn't alive, unfortunately, for that. I'm old.
Sorry, mate.
I'm actually old, but I wasn't alive for JFK.
No, probably the highest was World War II. Was that Roosevelt?
No, Ronald Reagan, 84. 49 out of 50 states.
Well,
when they won,
Biden's got the highest in terms of the number of people who voted for him, right? So that's a record.
Yeah. But I think that's COVID tax for sure, because all that's happened to us that he's getting the benefit of a reduction in cases because of the vaccine. It's happened all over the world. People who are dealing with it the best are the ones that got the best approval rating. That's what's happening. Mm-hmm. And the perception is he's dealing with it well. I mean, he also got a bit lucky that it happened to be a vaccine happened to get released when he got into power. I mean,
I think a lot of people. I think his popularity would have gone down.
No, because people would have seen things opening up and getting back to normality under his watch. Had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Whoa. Wait a second. Wait, what's opening up? What's opening up? Are the red states, not the blue states. California's not open up yet. All the blue states aren't open. It's Florida. It's Florida. It's
your trajectory.
It's the red states that are open.
Yeah, but your trajectory is heading towards reduced numbers and then improve lives. That's basically what they're looking at, right? It's clear that's happening. He's just got lucky that the circumstance when he got voted in happened to be when the vaccine rollout started. That's pretty obvious, right? So, clearly he's going to get some political benefit from that. You have to be an idiot to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big as what you think it is, to be honest. I mean, I've done a bit of reading, and it's like, even a few people, even CNN and all that haven't been he hasn't done a speech, so there you go.
All right, so you just told me that he's got some high approval ratings, and you can't work out why he's got high ratings.
He doesn't have high approval ratings. No, before the what I'm saying was he was high before the election. I'm trying to work out how is that possible compared to Obama? Because if you look at this bloke, he's not all there. That's my point.
High approval ratings.
Okay. High approval ratings before, like, compared to what Obama did. It was like, we're going into the election. What I mean, he got 80 million votes.
Yes, but we had this discussion at the time, right? That people weren't necessarily Biden supporters; they were anti-Trump supporters. There's a different circumstance.
Yeah,
and that gives you approval. Like this is when we were saying that, like, people. This is why I said my mates weren't necessarily pro-Biden. A lot of them were just anti-Trump. They're not the same thing. You can be anti-Trump, but you're left with Biden. You have no choice. Like, really, you got one or two people to choose from. So take a pick. You know, that's the problem.
Two evils.
Yeah,
I reckon they picked the more of two evils personally.
But
they bombed Syria.
Yeah, he bombed Syria straight away.
He promised everyone $2,000, but no, sorry, we're not doing that. We're not doing that one. We're going to change that to $1,400. And sorry, we just kids in cages. Oh, that was Trump. Oh, sorry, no. They're in rehabilitation. What did he call it? What did they call it? Those centers? No, not cages.
But I said this when we discussed last time. He's just a sheep in wolf's clothing.
And the funny one, they released the photos of what they've done for the CNN or whatever. Oh, look what Joe Biden's done. He's made it feel more comfortable. That photo is from 2019. Like, Jesus Christ.
I think that's
Shirt got that one wrong. I realised that when I say it. Wolf in sheep's clothing. I had a drunk moment. That basically that. Like, really,
they did have a
Biden moment. Got my speech all stuffed up, but that's okay.
Biden moment.
Yeah, I did.
Biden moment would be, what was it? I can't even say that. And Obama. That's Biden moment.
So that's the thing. Like, a lot of people were, but look, their policies aren't that different from each other. They're all the same. Like, you're basically voting to keep your worst one out. Is how they work over there. But the problem is, when you only got two, you don't have a lot of options to vote for. That's it. They're your options. Two people. It's ridiculous.
How is it that they keep getting dinosaurs?
Same here.
Like, there's this 70-year-olds plus. That's all you have to choose from.
Yeah.
Why is there no 40-year-olds in there?
Mm-hmm.
A bit of, energy, bit of.
Well, there could be if they would have a look at someone like Tulsi Gabbard, for example, right? But they changed the rules and wouldn't let her.
Yeah, but that's a democratic. That's what's her name? That's their process. Their delegates, whatever it is they call them.
Yeah. She should have been in the debates with Bernie and Joe and, a handful of the other ones, but they changed the rules so that, she should have qualified to get through to the next round of debating, but they changed the rules so that she wouldn't. So the public didn't get to see her, right? And if they had have seen and heard her, there would have been a big swing in terms to favour her because she speaks.
You just knocked politics on the head there, Simon. Boom, right there. So basically, it is, what can you do for me to give you this? And obviously, she wasn't ready to do the give in to the take in. Right? That's the way.
Well, exactly. She won't be bought. She can't be bought.
But that's what you need to have to be.
They moved the goalposts. They moved the goalposts at the last minute so that she couldn't be seen.
But that's how it always works. You have to give to take. That's politics. That's what being diplomatic is. And unfortunately, what happens in American politics is you're essentially left with the two same dudes. One wears a blue shirt, one wears a red shirt, and that's it. Mate, you picked an old white rich dude. Like, really? What's the difference?
He's senile, this one.
Yeah, well, the other one was orange. Same thing.
I think there's a very big difference between the two.
That's true. He's very creepy around kids.
Yeah.
That's all the Republicans should have done for their election campaign. Is just run those YouTube videos of Biden touching up senators' kids and wives. It's just
I think they went with the. Yeah, I think they went with the that for some reason the Republican Party wanted to still go with the "Make America Great" thing again. Like, it worked once, let's try it again. And I felt like you needed to adapt a little bit more than try and run the same play when people are aware of it.
Well, it did work in terms of it got him even more votes than last time.
But his problem is but I think they forget that last time they were facing Hillary Clinton. Now, they didn't have to do the work there because everyone hated Hillary as it was. So, like, they didn't hate Biden as much as they hated Hillary.
They just willfully ignored his
Yeah, but
incompetence.
they actually they just don't like Hillary. So Hillary, it also helped Trump having Hillary as a very she's not likable. She wasn't likable. They weren't voting for her. She was scheming. She was conniving. No one likes that stuff, right? So that's an easier thing. Whereas Biden was the background noise. Like he's there, you know. I think that was a little bit more easy for them to that make America great again is all right because you get more people, but you have to worry about the other side, which would have gotten more people as well.
Yeah. He actually called, did he say, he actually said he called Kamala Harris President Harris. So he's already implying. Yeah.
Biden did.
Yeah,
recently.
just the other day.
Yeah, he's losing it. I don't think anyone's ever queried him not losing it. Jeez.
I saw someone tweeted online on Twitter that Joe Biden is the biggest liability in President Harris's administration.
And there was a comment that was it that what's his name? Putin took the piss out of him as well, saying
he's challenged him to a live debate on
he challenged a live debate.
Well,
and they said, but we need to do it live, not in 3 days' time. You know what I mean? And no teleprompters.
Doesn't that say everything? That it's like the ships are circling. You know what I mean?
Holy.
They're historic enemies just smelling blood in the water.
Oh, I suppose he's
Breaks a hit going up to the podium.
Yeah, it's probably what's going to happen. He's probably already had it replaced. What are you on about?
Yeah. But that was quite a bit of a dig by Putin.
Did you see Navalny, that Alexei Navalny? So he got moved, so they're not sure where he is at the moment.
So he's not in jail.
So Alexei Navalny, which dude has titanium nuts. This guy might have the biggest balls in the world. No, man, he's the guy that did the documentary on Putin's palace. So apparently Putin was giving out some income from the government, putting it towards some palace he built on the Black Sea. Right? So he did a documentary. Now he's running as the opposition leader. So he's the one that they poisoned. They tried to poison him. And then he got better in Germany, in the hospital in Germany. Then they put out an arrest warrant because he breached his bail conditions because he was in intensive care. Worked that one out. So he was in intensive care. So instead of staying in Germany where he was safe, he actually flew back to attend the trial in Russia. And probably my favorite line, he said something like, "This land is known for Alexander the Great," and then he put Ivan the Conqueror, and now we're left with Putin, the underpants poisoner. Far out. Yeah, I know. He said that in Parliament, right? So forever you'll be known as Putin, the underpants poisoner. That's what he said in his transcript. And I was like, man, this guy has some massive cajones, eh? And he goes, so basically he put him in jail for breaching his bail, even though he was in intensive care, and he told the police. So his lawyer rang the police to say he was in intensive care. Then Putin went on TV to say, oh, he's in Germany. So he's like, well, you guys knew where I was at all times, so I don't know what the issue is here. But they put him in jail for that. Now they've moved him and they're not sure where he is. So not looking good for him. Poor bloke, though. He's got some massive nuts, but.
All right, firstly, before we go, Karl, what else, mate? Anything else to add? You've been a little bit quiet.
I joined the wrong podcast. I know nothing about politics. If you guys want to know any info on Tarantino flicks or just...
Well, you said that you were going to chime in about Sopranos and that type of thing. We don't mind to have a chat about the Sopranos every now and then. These two clowns are way behind.
You guys have done 2 eps on Sopranos.
What do you got to offer, mate?
Yeah, done a couple. Still reckon I still rate that.
I've watched it about 5 times over the whole series, 86 episodes times 5.
I've watched it twice.
Over my lifetime. These two haven't even watched it.
I've watched it. I'm in season 2, mate. You know what I mean? I'm getting there.
You know, a lot of the cast are all out of Goodfellas.
Yes, a lot of them are actually.
Yeah.
Was it Frankie Carbones was in there as well? I actually just found out that what's his name? Not Paulie Walnuts, the other Silvio. I didn't know he was in the E Street Band there, son. I'm sorry, but I didn't know that. Not that
Stevie Van Zandt.
That's news to me as well.
I didn't know that. Well,
he's Bruce's number 2, basically.
I only known a Steve Van Zandt as Silvio. Not as Bruce's number 2.
Okay. Yes, he was never an actor. That was his first acting.
Did a fantastic job, by the way.
I think David Chase, the director, specifically wanted him.
Yeah.
and got him to do it because I don't know, he saw something in him, and I don't know. Well, he's Tony Soprano's number 2. He probably saw that he was a good number 2 to Springsteen.
Oh, actually, he's probably my favorite character, to be honest, Silvio.
Paulie.
Well, he also, when that finished, he's also done his own series called Lilyhammer. So it's based on the premise that he was a New York mobster on the run, or goes into witness protection program, and he goes and they move him to Lilyhammer in Norway,
where the Olympics were in 94, 98. Whatever.
Yes,
worth a watch.
That's right, 88, I think. It's not bad. I think there's 3 seasons, if I remember right. It's okay.
Silvio's not bad, but the best is Paulie. Got to be Paulie.
Nah,
I
Silvio's
like
the
how he
best.
points. He always goes like this. Put that over there in my car. Like, it's fucking awesome.
Nah,
Paulie,
He
he's got
uses
the wings
his
in there.
bottom finger.
Silvio, to me, Silvio's he's the one.
There's
I like-
one where they're arguing, and one of the legit responses from Silvio was like when he said something over the line, he's like, "Oh, that meant something." You know what I mean? Like that was a memorable moment.
Oh, that's a sentence, basically.
Carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. To me, out of all up until what I've seen, which is near the end of season 2, right? I can honestly say I hate Richie Aprilia. I do not like him as a client, as a actor, or his character, I should say. I really don't
He's
like
the
him.
best. Does it like to hate? You like you?
It's hate. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like the mum.
You need those characters though. Like, they'd make good TV shows. The ones you want to hate.
Well,
Exactly.
Oh, you
You need
need-
those
yeah.
characters. He's
a villain.
Yeah.
He's a villain.
Mum was
But
awful.
to me, huh?
The mum was
Mother.
awful.
She was terrible.
Yeah.
She was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
But a brilliant. And again,
Oh,
You want
fantastic.
to hate them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
You just want to hate her, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was his the priest? I didn't like the priest.
Nah, fuck him.
oh yeah, he's annoying. He's
He's an annoying character. I just want to just smack him in the mouth. You know what I mean?
One you could
He's
even
a
do
priest,
without,
man.
I think, in the show that plot
Yeah,
line
that
of
particular
between Carmela and the priest.
I don't care
That
for Anthony Jr.
It's just too
much
far
either.
fetched for me.
Yeah, he's the
No, I could never stand Anthony
You're a
Jr.
fucking pussy.
But he actually does a podcast
Hmm.
with his sister in the show, Meadow, which so his name is Robert Isla, and she's Jamie Lynn
Yeah.
Sigler. But they do their own podcast together
Is it
now.
worth a watch?
Jamie Lynn. She was in Entourage.
Entourage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was. Terrible
She was
in
dating.
Entourage.
She went
as
out with
herself.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle.
Yes. And they went out in real life too.
Didn't they?
Turtle.
Turtle.
Around that time, yeah.
He's dropped a bit of weight, Turtle. He doesn't even look like nothing like the Turtle from Entourage nearly does.
I prefer Fat Turtle.
I watched all of Entourage, and the movie was average, I thought. But Entourage, the series, up
The writer's
until,
strike.
well, probably the last season was the last season.
The
was
writer's
the
strike
writer.
ruined that, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But
But where I was going with the Entourage is those actors. What have they ever done since? Like Vinny Chase, right? In the Entourage, one of the best looking guys in a TV series ever. Suave, charismatic. What's he ever done since? I've never seen him.
he became Johnny Drama, basically.
Johnny Drama.
Basically, yeah.
And what's the what's his name's wife there? The brunette girl. Emile Chikiri was
Sloane.
Yeah. Sloane.
Sloane, yeah. Oh my, she's
gorgeous.
gorgeous. Yeah. Again,
She only made that Zohan movie.
Zohan.
That was it.
All right.
She only made the Zohan.
She's good in that too.
Yeah, she was good in that. I actually watched that the other day. It was quite funny.
The Mendel thinks that movie's hilarious.
I actually like that movie. It's a
That's
great
okay.
movie.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's actually a good movie.
Easy bubbler.
Mel thought Coming to America, Electric Boogaloo.
I did not
was
take that. The original Coming to America, yes. I said Coming to America was average at best. Average at
Dog shit.
best.
Dog shit, apparently.
Oh, shit. I'm
Average is-
telling everyone.
Average is
Don't
too
watch
generous.
it. They even during the movie they look at the camera and say, "Yeah, we're doing a shitty remake." Like, it's fucking awful.
Yeah, exactly. How sad was
Yeah.
that part where they did that?
When did they
tried
do that?
to,
I didn't
break the fourth wall.
Broke the fourth
piss
wall or
take.
whatever, and just looked at the camera. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Ruined it. Ruined the classic, guys.
Yeah, don't listen. You can't do a classic after 33 years. A sequel, I think.
You mean like Godfather?
No, Godfather was after 2 years. 72, 74.
The third one?
Third one wasn't even that. That was in the late 80s, early 90s. Wasn't even that.
Early 90s, wasn't it?
91, 92.
Johnny watching online says Jeremy Piven, who was Ari Gold.
Yeah, he actually has.
Before and after Entourage. Yeah, actually, he did that show. What was that show he did? Like he was the owner of Harrods or something in London.
He actually played a really good part in Old School too. In the movie Old School, one of the most underrated movies of all time.
Greatest comedies of all time.
Up there with Dodgeball.
I don't know that. But, he was.
You haven't seen Old School?
Ari Gold was.
You never seen Old School?
You've not seen Old School
in Entourage.
Have you seen Old School?
Maybe I haven't.
Classic.
I'm bad with remembering movies. Like my wife talks about There's Something About Mary all the time.
That is also classic.
She can quote lines.
Yeah, it was all right, but it was
something about
not
Mary.
Old School level, but you know.
There's
there's the link between Johnny Jarama because he was in it.
That's true.
Remember?
Matt Dillon.
The best is Wedding
He
Crashers.
was in that.
I
just don't remember old movies that I've seen years ago.
I think, like Mabel said, he pulled out Dodgeball, man. Dodgeball's a good movie.
Dodgeball's classic.
It's an extremely quotable movie.
Very good movie.
I haven't seen that in ages.
Watch it again.
That's like a
no,
it's not. It's just a stupid comedy, but it's hilarious.
It's easy.
Watch Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, I just don't like stupid comedies.
Watch Dodgeball again.
Dodgeball's good, man.
Might I add, rewatched Van Wilder, Party Liaison.
Amazing.
Still good.
Top there.
Still good.
Top movie. Top movie.
Yeah.
Euro Trip.
Yep.
Quality. Road Trip. Quality.
Yeah. Good comedy.
Movies I watch once and that's it. I'm happy to watch them once and I'm done.
I haven't seen that one.
Clerks 2, Karl. Clerks 2.
Clerks, the Silent Bob there.
Yeah, Silent Bob was epic.
But didn't that made that movie with no budget or something? It was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the other one that they always talk about? I don't like. Was it Vote for Pedro or was that one?
Oh, Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, that wouldn't be a classic.
Yeah.
That's a funny movie. It wouldn't be a classic.
I always wondered where that Vote for Pedro came from.
Napoleon.
Yeah, everyone bangs on like that was a great movie. And Hangover 2 probably have to be the original.
Hangover.
Probably one of the greatest movies of all comedies. Comedy flicks have to be up there.
Genuine comedy flicks, yeah.
Top 10 comedy flicks have to put the
Coming to America.
Original. Beverly Hills Cop.
There's too many because they're all different.
Huh? Which one?
There's too many because they're all different, man. Like you one day you want to watch one and then you think about it the next day. It's like I feel like watching this. You know, there's a lot of good comedy movies back in the day. Like,
so I still reckon Beverly Hills Cop.
Spaceballs.
Classic. No, not Spaceballs. No, Basketball.
Basketball.
Oh yeah,
that was our era.
Yeah,
that was good.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the one where they invented it.
Yeah, because they were lazy.
Yeah.
It mixed between basketball and baseball.
Yeah, had Victoria Silverstead, Playmate of the Year.
I suppose they're a bit younger generation. These millennials, Simon. These are
I don't know.
That's 20 years ago.
What that one was, but
no, that's not even. Yeah, don't even try, Karl. I try all the time. Don't even try. So don't even.
Okay. Lads, we're
wrap
done
it up
for the day.
Let's go.
All right, it's been
Thank
special
you,
again.
Thanks,
Karl, thank you for joining us. It's been great. We might have to rotate through some
material,
some other listeners.
Next time you
get them on for a show.
Pop culture, movies, not politics. I don't know dick about politics, but
well, it's probably what we talk about more. So than
Harry, we'll talk about Harry and Meghan. We could talk about movies.
We did talk about them last
Karl was
week.
very interested in that.
Yeah.
It was between
conspiracy theories.
Next
conspiracy theories.
I'll get you in.
Conspiracy theories.
You did mention conspiracy theories at the start, Karl.
Hang on
so
about
look,
conspiracy
please,
theories.
by all means, take before we go, take the floor. What do you want to bring up about conspiracy?
Don't. You will be here forever.
Yeah. Look.
Do we need to do another episode?
I've had an hour argument with Karl.
Time was infuriating.
No, we're not doing this again.
I'm with Karl on this one because we've had this discussion. Yeah. Karl feels me. He understands. Like, I'm afraid that didn't sound
what
good.
Was infuriating?
Don't do it, Simon.
Take on it all. You guys were saying like we don't have the right story with what happened with those towers, and Dom was saying, well, you have to give a like who did it sort of thing, like to make a conspiracy. And Mel in your argument was like, no, you don't. We don't have the right story, but. They weren't arguing that, Dom. It was very frustrating being on the other end listening to it on Spotify.
It's not a conspiracy theory then, Karl. It's Dom.
You missed the point.
The thing about that episode that we did talking about different conspiracies, and I think the main one was 9/11 towers, right? The next episode that we didn't get published because I lost the audio. But what the next episode was debunking everything we had spoken about, right? So what we came back with was that all those conspiracies were a load of shit, basically, including 9/11.
Let's come back.
And pretty much everything happened.
It happened. But even so, we still had the question was, it was just weird. It was just weird. It was just.
How can a building,
I know you say bullshit,
how can a building that didn't have a plane going
we're not doing this.
Free fall
We're not
speed?
doing
That was a controlled demolition. It went like this.
That's what we debunked.
Down. Debunked.
You know,
Yes.
now with
Yes.
Riverside,
Only building in a history that
That's
went
what we
down
debunked.
just due to
I'll
office
stream
fires.
and show you. All right.
No.
Are we going to hold this till next time? Because I feel like this could be a half an hour on its own.
My neck's getting hot just thinking about it.
No, I'm beyond thinking about that in terms of conspiracy 9/11. Obviously there's a lot of bullshit that went along with it, but I think it's more incompetence than.
I think there's
conspiracy.
also actually no.
To be honest.
There's questions. That's all I'm saying. With everything, there's questions, and a lot of those questions haven't been answered. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
All right, we'll
That's
take that. All right.
That's all. That's my thing.
We'll leave it at that.
Did
We'll
the
leave it at
United
that.
States? Wait, just come back.
It's a pity that.
Did the United States?
Sorry,
the United
go.
States end up in the moon? I believe they did. My opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that deny that they did. Okay.
All right, they probably think the Earth is flat as well. Those people. So
Yeah,
don't worry.
but
about
I'm
that.
just.
It's not even worth discussing.
I'll follow another podcast called Conspiracy Theories. Really good conspiracy. For anyone out there want to listen to it, it's pretty awesome. I actually listened to one about asbestos. What an amazing theory about that one there. Jesus, how the American government knew so long about the companies knew so much about asbestos and just kept milking it. It was actually quite sad. But anyway,
all right. I think Dom, you've said before that when there's an option between something's either conspiracy or just a big general cock up. It's generally the cock up, which
people aren't that bright.
Correct. And I think more along those lines these days than conspiracy thinking. I just I mean, there are some that have happened. We can bring them up, but most those the towers falling, physically, technically can happen. And
the towers, yes.
All right.
It's the first time
Tower
it's
7.
happened. Just saying.
It's been
First time
Tower-
I played
Tower-
through the building
Tower 7.
too. But anyway,
Tower 7, Karl.
same Tower
Didn't even
7,
get hit.
and
Came
it's all
down at
been
free fall speed due to office fires. First building in
okay,
history.
all right,
and-
we'll do that.
I need to
Don't
find the
start, I'm
video
telling
that
you, it's
I
gonna be
watched
up now.
and
Just
show you.
question.
but-
That's what I'm asking. I like the good
Let's
question.
do the next one. I have to wrap it up. So let's do the next one. All right.
All right, let's try again to
Let's
wrap
do
this
it.
up.
All right, fellas. Take
All
it
right,
easy.
guys.
Huh?
So,
Adios. Ciao.
It's been a while since I've been on TV. I want to get back on. So,
Well, you're on Newsnight, country's premier news show here.
well, can we make a series out of this?
Well, we'll see how this goes first, shall
All
we?
right. Okay.
Not everyone can be the boss. Some, like Stevie Van Zandt and Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, are great sidekicks.
I think it helps that we're actually friends. I think it helps that it's not a democracy.
Who runs that band then?
The guy whose picture's on the cover.
The boss.
I'll give you
I suppose
three
they call him
guesses.
the boss for a reason.
Yeah. And that's, we were a hybrid, I mean, rock is all about bands and pop is more or less about solo artists. And we're the hybrid of somebody and the somebodies. But at the same time, he is the boss. And that's, and he's a great boss.
You woke up this morning, got yourself a gun.
Van Zandt also appeared in the first and perhaps the best of the box sets, all about the mob in his native New Jersey. It was different, but you can't help thinking of The Godfather a bit, I suppose, and Goodfellas.
But everybody knows it, so you can kind of use what everybody knows and go a little bit left
Play
here.
with it.
Yeah, play with it. And, in the end, we fashioned this relationship pretty much on my relationship with Bruce, which was the consigliere advisor friend that you grew up with,
Take it. Bird, you ever see? He's gone. What happened? I didn't want to overload you with AJ in the hospital. I don't want to hear that. Go. Bird let me know the other night. He's been playing both sides of the fence with New York. Bert? Measures were taken.
I guess you haven't done many whackings for Bruce, though, over the years.
Well, none that we can talk about.
No.
But
quiet words here and there, maybe.
Yeah, but it's a similar job. When you're the best friend, you're the one that has to occasionally deliver the bad news, And so I was very, very well, I understood that part of the relationship.